Dice is on the beat.
What's going on, guys? We're back in the building for Friday nights here, man. Just checking out everything high school football. We'll touch base on everything that's going on with Florida high school football brackets. Want to touch on the tragic news of what happened with Marshawn Nealon in Dallas, kind of touch on that a little bit. But we mainly just want to kind of come in and talk about the brackets that just came out and really just kind of break all that down. The losers brackets, all this different stuff that's going on, with Florida high school football right now. So we'll get into that. Hope everybody's doing great. We want to come in here on this Friday night. This is actually what the off week before all the action starts, right? Next week. There are some teams that are playing tonight. We got Paxton playing Fernandina in the Sunshine High School playoff bracket. So there are a few teams in action tonight. And let's kind of go ahead and present. Marcus is here. He's in his car. He's driving, getting himself all situated. All right. And so it's loading now. Should be able to take a look at these. Grab me a little drink. All right, if this thing will ever load. Come on. There we go. All right. So where do we want to start first, Mark, with the playoff brackets? What stands out? Mark, what stands out for you for the playoff brackets? I think Marcus froze. So we'll start in 1A, right? Why not? Start in 1A and kind of take a look at the brackets here. Florida high school football playoffs. Let's see. Florida football playoff brackets. All right, so they're not on Max Preps just yet, so we have to find them on the state website. Let's see, FHSA 8, FHSA state championships football. All right, let's get into it. So let's take a look at the 1A playoff brackets here. And pretty much starts next week, man. So what we got here, we got University Christian is a number 1 seed, Trinity Catholic coming out at University Christian High. You got Episcopal playing Impact. That's going to be good. I like that. Episcopal's playing Impact 1A. You got Trinity playing Providence at Trinity Christian. Trinity bounced back this year, man. They were not looking good to start. You got McClay playing NFEI. Wow, big time. NFEI's in the playoffs, man. What a big time that is. All right, let's go to the other side of the bracket. In the regional quarterfinals, we got St. Petersburg Catholic, Evangelic Christian. Let's see. You got Newman, Southwest, Cardinal Newman. They're always good perennially. Benjamin, Community School, Northside Christian. And then you get to that gauntlet at the bottom. Chaminade Madonna, which has been always a big winner every year. St. Paul, Edison, Westminster. Let's see, Palmer. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from this bracket here. That's Class 1A. Let's go to Class 2A here and take a look. And if you're just joining us, we're actually taking a look at the Florida High School Athletics Association 2025 Football State Championships bracket, the road to the state championships. We just checked out 1A. We're kind of just rolling through here. Just wanted to pop on quickly as these just came out last night and kind of give some take on it. So we got Bowles, number 1. At Bowles, you got Walton, Florida State University playing Baldwin. Let's see. That's Florida State University High School playing Baldwin. You got Pensacola Catholic Let's see, against Bozeman. South Walton against Freeport. Bradford against Avon Park at Bradford. The Villages against Berkeley Prep at the Villages. Calvary Christian versus Santa Fe. And you got Cocoa versus Newberry. That should be a good one. All right, going to the other side of the bracket, you got number 1, Cardinal Mooney against North Broward Prep. Calvary Christian against Bishop Verot. Lakewood against Somerset Academy. Glade Central against Kings Academy. I can't even say it. Immaculata. A lot going on, but number 1 seed. Somerset. This is a Somerset Academy. I thought they already played some. Are there 2 Somerset Academies? Hold on. I ain't tripping, am I? No. Yeah, Somerset Academy. Boynton Beach. Oh, Somerset Academy, Boynton Beach. That's got to be another part. Okay, so we got Gulliver Prep. We got Ransom Everglades, Cardinal Gibbons against Monsignor Pace. It's a good one. Killian versus Carroll City to round out the 2A. All right, and we're keeping it rolling. So you got the Rains Vikings, the number 1 overall seed in your 3A bracket. Let's get after it. You got the Rains Vikings, Baker against Baker County. Yulee against West Florida. You have the Bay against Godby. Bishop Kenny against Wakulla. Bishop Moore against Hernando. Bishop Moore's a 1 seed. You got Gainesville Eastside against South Sumter. East EU Galley against Tavares. Merritt Island against Titusville. Lilly against Estero. Miami Central against St. Brendan. That's 3A, Marcus. So we're just going through the 3A bracket. And
who's the 1 seed in 3A?
Rains. Rains is the 1 seed in 3A. Booker, Sarasota. Getting a little feedback on your phone. I don't know. Let's see. You got Chamberlain, Tampa, Nature Coast. Yeah, Northwestern's in there, obviously. Miami's Northwestern's the number 1 seed.
Are we thinking a rematch?
Yeah, I think so. Barring any weird upsets, I think you can pencil Rains and Northwestern in the state to go at it again. Let's see. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking rematch, or if it's time for that, yeah. But I'm thinking a rematch.
All right, so let's see. So that's the 3A bracket. You got Northwestern versus Somerset. You got Key West, Cypress Lake. Fix this. Cypress Lake. We were on the other side. You had East Side versus South Sumter. Sumter, however you say that. Let's see. Miami Central versus St. Brendan. A lot of these Estero. So that's kind of, I mean, Rains and that's kind of the highlight of that one is Rains and Northwestern pretty much is the highlight of that bracket. That's 3A. So let's slide over to 4A. You got St. Augustine High versus Arnold. St. Augustine High is the number 1 seed. You got Arnold. You got Ed White against Pine Forest. Ed White's at home. Choctaw Wauhatchie versus Booker T. Washington. You got Columbia versus Rickards. Jones out of Orlando versus Deltona. Deltona back on the map. Let's go. You got Auburndale versus Vanguard. Zephyr Hills versus Rockledge. and Mandarin beat the heck out of Rockledge. Different classification, but you got Lake Wales, New Smyrna, and let's see. Trying to see if there's any other Clearwater in that. You got Naples. It's been a while for Naples, man. Naples is finally back on the map here. Jesuit, Tampa Jesuit, obviously. They've been running that. I think St. Augustine has a good shot to get there this year. With what they have. I think they feel like they have a good shot. What do you think, Mark? Let's see. Marcus froze again, so be back in at some point. Let's see. Marcus will be back in at some point when he gets that connection. Anyway, we're moving right along. We're in 4A. And let's see, Archbishop McCarthy, Norland, American Heritage is going to have something to say about getting the state. Jones is going to have something to say about St. Augustine getting the state. Let's see. Jesuit. Let's see. All right, so that's pretty much the 4A bracket, guys. Moving on to 5A. You got Ponte Vedra, Niceville, Beachside. Beachside. All right, let's go. Beachside getting in there 4A, little 4A action. I love it. Love it. 5A action, sorry. Let's see. You got Mainland, Middleburg, Daytona Beach. Got Mosley, Lincoln, Tallahassee, Lincoln, Edgewater, Lake Gibson, Tampa Tech, Sebring. You got Lakeland, obviously. I saw Lakeland earlier this year. You got to think they'll be. I saw Lakeland in California earlier this year. You got to think they'll be a lot better headed into the playoff. You got Gaither, Martin County, Atlantic, Delray Beach, North Miami, Coconut Creek. St. Thomas Aquinas is the #1 seed against Heritage. Manatee against Charlotte. Cape Coral. Immokalee versus Pinellas Park. Riverdale, Fort Myers, #1 seed. And you got Ponte Vedra as the #1 seed in the 5A bracket, which is different. That's crazy. I like it though. A lot of good football being played on the First Coast, man. So you got Buchholz. We're getting into 6A. You got Buchholz against Oviedo. Nice is going to be the 4 seed at home versus Oakleaf. You got Mandarin as a 2 seed against Crestview. They're playing at home. You got Pace versus Evans. You got Armwood. Yeah, you got Armwood versus we're in 6A now. You got Armwood versus Mandarin's a 2 seed in 6A. You got Armwood. Let's see. Anything else? West Broward, South Ridge, Palmetto. You know what struck me is that Ponte Vedra is the 1 seed in 5A.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they that good?
Ponte Vedra is the 1 seed in 5A. And Beachside is a 4 seed.
Who was in that bracket? Who's in 5A? You don't have to go back, but
Let's see. In what, in 5A?
Yeah.
You got some notable ones. You got St. Thomas Aquinas, Lakeland, Gaither,
I mean,
Coconut Creek, Edgewater. Yeah, so I mean, Tallahassee, Lincoln. It ain't no slump.
it ain't sweet,
Yeah,
but I'm trying to
yeah.
think. Ponte Vedra,
Manatee,
they lost their first game of the season to I want to say like I want to say the beach side actually,
really?
and I know they beat like the IMG state team the other week, but I
Yeah,
don't. They're usually pretty steady. I know they played for a state championship maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, so I mean that maybe that shouldn't be so shocking.
yeah. So, all right. So let's get into 6A. Let's kind of go over 6A one more time. You got Buchholz, you got Oviedo, you got Nice, Oakleaf, Mandarin versus Crestview, Pace versus Evans, Armwood versus Melbourne, Vieira versus Riverview, South Lake versus Plant, Osceola versus Durant, Monarch. I don't know who Monarch is. Where's Monarch?
Miami, they played Bulls the first
Okay.
game of the season.
Okay. Got it. What do you think about Mandarin versus Crestview? You know anything about Crestview?
I
Nothing about
don't know too
Crestview.
much about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no clue. Uh, I kind of expect like a clash between Mandarin and Nice or something like that in the next couple rounds or so.
Right. Let's see. Okay. So let's move on to 7A. So in 7A, you got DeLand versus Creekside at DeLand. Um, let's see.
When again,
That was the classification. I wonder why they dropped Mandarin out of 7A, man. I wonder why they did that. Let's see, Marcus got frozen again. All right, you guys, if you're just joining us, we're just going through the FHSAA high school football brackets. They just came out last night. They start next week. Next Friday is kind of the playoff kickoff. So this is like our little bye week in between. And let's see. This is like our little bye week in between. And we're just basically just kind of going through everything really quickly and kind of giving our take on what's to come next week. So just giving you a quick preview here. So we're in 7A. So we're just looking at what's notable in 7A and kind of running through it here. Let's go. You got DeLand versus Creekside. You got Boone versus Winter Park. Lake Mary versus Haggerty. Spruce Creek versus Seminole. Mandarin used to be in this classification. For whatever reason, they got moved down. I guess they didn't quite meet these are like the mega schools with the most attendance. So you got Central versus Palm Beach Central. You got Jupiter versus Dr. Phillips. St. Cloud versus Lake Nona. And you got Vero Beach versus East Ridge. So sorry guys, just checking these text messages, seeing what's going on. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's see if we can get Marcus back in here. Marcus is in and out today. All right. So what happens when you try to make that McDonald's run during the podcast? All right. So we just kind of went through 7A. All the big boys in there, obviously Boone, Winter Park, Lake Mary, Spruce Creek, Seminole. Those are kind of your powerhouses. Dr. Phillips, Jupiter, St. Cloud, Vero Beach. So some good football being played there for sure. Um, let's see. Usually, man, Miami Palmetto. Usually, you see Columbus. Miami Palmetto is a 1 seed, so I think they got some potential to do some damage.
Yeah, I don't know too much about 7A. I know you mentioned Creekside's in there.
Yeah, Creekside, which I didn't know they were that big. Creekside, Boone, um, Lake Mary. Lake Mary's always in there. Spruce Creek, Venice,
Mhm.
West Orange, Plant City. I
Yeah,
mean, all the ones you know.
I would have to think Venice is probably the favorite out of the
Venice, yeah,
7A.
yeah, agreed. So that's those are kind of our playoff brackets, man. That's it's kind of really just all the ones that we know for the most part that are kind of notable. There's a few that surprised us with Beachside and I was very surprised to see Beachside in there. They're fairly new and good to see them getting good at football, man. And Ponte Vedra's a big shock too as well to be a number 1 seed coming out of Jacksonville. A lot of Jacksonville teams in the bracket this year.
Yeah.
A lot of Jacksonville.
And also, I want to shout out NFEI. I don't know if you went over them.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
did. Yep.
yep, they had a tremendous turnaround. I think they're like 6-4, 7-3. Maybe their first playoff appearance or one of their first.
Yeah.
Congrats, congrats to them.
Yeah, to the FHSA anyway. I think they get into that other bracket pretty much yearly, but
Yeah,
breaking into the FHSAA is big time.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Um, but so yeah, so that's that. Those are pretty much just the brackets that we wanted to go over. What I did want to touch on is just also before we kind of hop off is just rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon with the Dallas Cowboys and that whole situation. Um, I mean, I was just when it came out, I was just first like shocked, and then seeing like what happened and how old he was, and just everything that happened. And he was just playing, so it's like just the shock of it all. What were your thoughts? You being a Cowboys fan?
Um, yeah, man. Similar to kind of what you just said, man. He just scored, I believe, his first career touchdown on Monday. Um, just very sad news, man. I think we always look on. I think Shannon Sharp said it best. I heard it when he said it, so I don't want to take credit for what I'm saying. But I think a lot of times we see the outside. He's an NFL player. He's 24. Just scored his first career touchdown. I think we think these guys, these players. How can they deal with stuff? They have all this fame and all this stuff, and it's just sad, man. You never know what somebody's going through, and on the outside, people have they have a different, you know, they have a difference in how they act on the outside and what they're dealing with on the inside. So, man,
I think there's just like I
don't
think
know too
there.
much.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I don't know too much about what happened, but just sad, man. That just sad, man.
Yeah, and you don't know if he was intoxicated. I mean, you really don't know what the deal was. His girlfriend said that he was struggling with the death of his mom. Um, and certainly that probably had something to do with it. Just the suddenness of it all. Maybe something came to a head. Maybe he was, because we know that these guys they play ball, but then they might be substance abuse off the field or something going on. You know what I mean? And you don't really know. You don't really know like what's really happening. I think that's the scary part. Is like this is happening at a faster clip. This is happening a lot more often, and it's just crazy that it's like on men's mental awareness month, right? So if this isn't like a national crisis, or this isn't like something that's like really beat into your head, and like this whole NFL masculinity thing, and like you got to be this or that, or if you're not tough, like I don't know, I don't know. I just feel like Dan Orlovsky said something too. He was like, honestly, if I'm in a locker room, I'm not telling anybody that I have a problem. I don't care how many times people are saying it. You're just not gonna you're not gonna be vulnerable because there's not really space for that, right? And
Yeah,
and you have to be, even if we're saying like, oh, there's a space, but there's, if we're being honest, there's that's looked at as weakness and all that. It's just true. And
yeah,
so what we have to do is we have to change the narrative around that somehow, to where we're like actually taking it serious, and we really realizing that even people who are trying to act tough or are doing all this stuff, they know they got issues too. So it's like stuff that we know that we got, and that we're kind of like not dealing with it, or we're not talking about it, or we don't have a good brother who's going to pull us to the side, or just see us one day and just be like, yo, I see you, man. Like, what's going on, And I'm not saying that he didn't have anybody like that, because I'm sure there's some good vets in that locker room, but I think everybody's kind of looking at themselves. Historically, there has not been good leadership in that locker room, though, and I think historically that there hasn't been that kind of guy in there. Like Dak's not that guy. You know what I mean? Like there's just not those guys in that locker room. There's not guys who you can point that and be like, oh man, that's such a selfless guy. He's gonna be the one that people gravitate towards. And I think that's part of been the Cowboys' problem, as far as one of their big problems as far as getting to the next level. Like if you're looking at in other locker rooms, and this is not, I'm not putting this on anybody else, but I'm just saying from a leadership standpoint, or guys feeling like it's that type of place where it's not a me thing, and like, oh, this is so cool, like we're the Cowboys, like this is, you know and some of that's kind of, you see that in the documentaries too, you know what I mean? Like the cowboy thing is like such a pressure, there's so much pressure that comes with it, there's so much, it's just, we just cool for school type of deal, like not so much as like, oh, let's sit down and talk, or let's have a Bible study, like let's do, stuff like that. I just don't think there's enough of that going on in the league, and people will admit it.
yeah. I think you hit it right on the head, and man, not really be in a space. I don't care how many times you say it. I don't know how many times it gets brought up.
No, Marcus is driving, so he's in a tough area. But I think what he's trying to say is you're hitting it right on the head, as far as like not having that safe space as athletes, or as men, not having a safe space to talk, and like we have to constantly keep up this toxic like masculinity, like there's no safe spaces for us to talk with your girl most of the time, and like, so that's like shunned, and it's like there's just not enough safe spaces for guys, man, and it's just really true. But I think we're gonna lose the next generation of like, the generation we're in, but our kids are in trouble if we don't get this figured out. The kids will stop talking to us. We'll think that we have we'll think that we have some type of connection with the kids, and we do, but then there's stuff they're not telling us, because we're not digging and digging and digging, or finding, or just connecting, or really seeing the heart of our kids, or the heart of these people, and like just stop for a second just to say, hey, what's happening, are you okay, is everything going all right, or you might just say that, but are you really okay? Like, if you ever need anything, man, let's sit down, let's talk, off the record, whatever. Like, there's not enough of that going on. And yet what we want to do with you know even the whole like Shannon Sharp thing, and all this stuff that's happened over this year, and like nobody's really sat down and been like, what's your mental makeup, man, to make you think that some of this stuff is, I don't want to persecute you. I want you to be able to talk to me and have that safe space to talk and say, hey, I have this problem here. This is why I'm doing this stuff, because maybe I feel lonely, or maybe I feel empty, or maybe there's something else going on with me, or there's just, maybe I don't know who I am. Like, I'm lost. Like, there's just, we're quick to judge and quick to persecute, and not quick to make a safe space for stuff that's happening. The thing with Mark Sanchez, like, what was going on with Mark Sanchez? Nobody would have saw it. We kind of brushed that under the rug. Oh, it's easier just to fire Mark and say, "Oh, okay, Mark, go away, go off into, and go figure yourself out." But what was he going through? What was he going through? Somebody had to see something, that Mark had this substance abuse problem on the road, or somebody at Fox, or somebody had to see something, and could have. And again, people are responsible for their own actions, but there's more that we can do. This is happening too often. It's happening too often. We're not caring enough about people, man, as human beings. We're not caring about people enough. You got to stop to care enough to ask. You got to be a friend to ask. You got to be a friend to let people in too. If people are asking you, let them in if you really need the help. If you feel like it's a safe space, if it's not a safe space, go find a safe space. Find somewhere safe, man. There's not enough safe places, but we need to start creating those spaces, man. I'm tired of losing people young and to the mental health, and we're quick to judge and quick to put a viral moment, but we're not quick to care, or to quick to put our arms around people, man. Enough. It's happening, but it's not happening enough. It's not big enough. The movement isn't big enough. And that's the problem. The movement isn't big enough. We make a movement for everything else, but not a movement to keep people alive. We need a movement to keep people alive, man. Mental health is an epidemic right now. It's an epidemic. Substance abuse, all this stuff comes from mental health. Your mental well-being, your state of mind. That's what this stuff is coming from. We got to do something about it. We have to make a change. The change has to start with you. The change has to start with being vulnerable. The change has to start with finding a safe space. If you confided in somebody, and a lot of times we confide in people and it burns us, because then something that we could tell them in confidence is something that they use against us. So a lot of us might be jaded by safe spaces, because places where we thought were safe weren't safe. Places where they told us, hey, let's talk, weren't safe spaces. And I think that's another problem. The betrayal is real. So people don't even feel like they can really voice these things or really find the help that they need, because they've been betrayed before when they thought it was a safe space. There's a lot of layers to this thing, man. I think we just got to get more and more into it. But I say that to say, rest in peace, Marshawn Nealon. I hate that it had to happen the way that it happened, and wish we could have, we could have gotten him the help he needed, or even the next person, man. We can't let the next thing happen. Somebody right now is hurting and needs to be talked to. We cannot let the next thing happen. We have to ask. We cannot let the next thing happen, man. We have to check in on our people. Really check in. We say that all the time after this stuff happens. Really check in. Really care about your people, man. Really care. It matters. It's life and death. Mental health is life and death. Just like drugs, and just like alcohol, and just like car crashes. Mental health is life and death. We're living in here every day. Every day we're living in this brain. You can't cut it off. Take care of yourself. That's all I want to say, man. I'm so passionate about it, because it's so true. I do the work daily. We wake up and we feel in these funks, but we got to do the work daily to get ourselves out of these funks. And it's got to be an intentional thing, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, taking care of your brain, taking these days. We're just taught to keep going, go, man. We got to take the time. And that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. But a little bit of the breakdown. That was the high school bracket breakdown, but I couldn't go by or take a second without talking about that on the mental health month, which is November, to just give my 2 cents on that, man. It's so important. It's so important. And I'll leave you guys with that, man. But have a great day. Looking forward to some high school football. Rest in peace, Marshawn Nealon. Condolences to him and his family, of course. And let's get after it next week, man. High school football start. We're in the thick of it. NFL, we're in the thick of the NFL season, the thick of the brackets with the college playoff rankings, with college football. We're in the thick of it right now, man, and it's so exciting. But we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.